Hey, it's Richard Geller. I want to talk about how to retire rich, even if you have nothing but debt right now. You don't see any other way out. This is going to be very, very fast moving. If you're 50 years old, you have 1,500 weeks to live, approximately. You may have 2,000 weeks, you may have 5 weeks. We don't really know, but you don't have a lot of time. The reality is life really is very short, and we are all going to die. And as it's amazing how we just don't have much time, and we don't really realize that we don't have much time. I was cruising around here in Paris where I am, and I happened to see this window display, and I'm going to zoom in on this window to show you some things. This is what they're charging. Now, these are euros. These are not dollars. And so if you translate, jacket $4,000 approximately, pants $7,000, dress $5,000, handbags a bargain at $2,000, and the gloves are only $1,400. Believe me, I didn't take a picture. I couldn't get a good picture of what was in the window itself, but it's just a display, an outfit. You wouldn't imagine that it was a $20,000 outfit. And, the real question is, who has this kind of money to spend? Well, people that have that kind of money to spend on a dress or $1,400 for some gloves, those are people that have access to money that is printed, to counterfeit money. Let me explain to you how that all works. Let's say that you're a financial speculator, because these are the people that have got all the wealth right now. You're a hedge fund. You borrow from the bank. The banks print money in unlimited quantities. That's what they do. And as a hedge fund, you speculate. And let's just say you earn only 1/10 of 1% on $1 billion, which is really no big deal. That's $1 million. Do this every day. Pretty soon you're talking about real money. Now, you multiply that by 5 trillion or 50 trillion, and that's exactly what we have right now. The people that have access to this counterfeit money are the hedge funds, the financial speculators. Those are the people that actually have all this money, and the rest of us are getting poorer and poorer. Now, there are two things that are true about this world of assets. There are real assets like houses and buildings and pipes and plumbing and all that. Those aren't going anywhere. The U.S. is a very rich country in those things. Other countries are also quite rich in those things, and there's some countries like China where they're still developing those things. Those are infrastructure things that aren't going to go away. But then there's financial assets. It's like a grid almost above the real world, and that grid could disappear at any moment, and in fact it will disappear, because what happens is this runaway train, trillions become tens of trillions, hundreds of trillions, and at some point in every historical case the system blows up and collapses. We've had this collapse already starting in 2008. It's ongoing now. We don't know what the end game is going to be, when it's going to be, whether it's going to be this year, next year, 5 years from now. Nobody can predict when it will happen, but we can predict that it will happen. And here's what I think will happen. I think that at some point the cash is going to get very precious, and you're not going to be able to go to the ATMs and just get money. I think people are going to end up a lot of times without anything, and they're going to end up in shelters. They're going to end up trying to rely on the government or something for food temporarily, because there'll be supply disruptions. Panic will result in people that demand actual cash money, because if banks are failing, there are going to be the requirement of having actual cash money, and the banks aren't going to be able to provide that cash because it takes time to get it printed and distributed. When it is actually printed and distributed, it'll create enormous inflation. And basically it's the end of the cash money that we have right now, and there'll be some kind of new dollars, new currency. Anything that you have in the bank, anything in terms of bonds, anything like paper wealth like that will become worthless. So what do you want to own in this situation? Well, at the beginning, you want to have cash. I mean real cash, $100 bills, $20 bills, because if you have real cash, you'll be able to buy food and things for your family. Bonds and money will become worthless at that point, and then gold and silver and food and water will be very valuable. I don't expect this to last for very long. This period may last for a month or two, but it'll be a very difficult period for most people. Real estate, good businesses are always good to own. What you should do, acquire gold and silver, store it, bury it, keep it somewhere safe, carry on with life, be happy, okay? And when you want to do is you want to use that gold and silver so that you can buy assets up very cheap, like real estate and stocks at that time, because you'll have real wealth that you can take out of hiding and really do something with. That's the plan that I would recommend for you. Best to get gold now, best to get it while it's still relatively cheap, best to buy it at wholesale levels. Click on the button that you see below and try out my wholesale gold course. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.